Imagine cheering for your favorite Hollywood star, only to find out they're a total nightmare behind the scenes. From screaming at directors to storming off sets, these icons weren't just dramatic on screen, they were the drama. This isn't reality TV, folks. It's real life in Tinseltown. Buckle up, because this list might just ruin your celebrity crush or make you love the chaos even more. Number 1. Ryan O'Neal, from heartthrob to Hollywood headache. Ryan O'Neal had the face of a dreamboat and the temperament of a ticking time bomb. America swooned for him in Love Story. But behind the scenes, Ryan was writing a very different script, one full of blow-ups, bust-ups, and burned bridges. His most infamous role, problematic dad. His daughter Tatum O'Neal didn't just throw shade, she launched a full emotional exposé. According to her, Ryan wasn't exactly father of the year, more like father of the meltdowns, and it wasn't just family. Ryan had a black belt in on-set conflict, sparring with co-stars like Ali MacGraw, and turning romantic drama with Farrah Fawcett into tabloid gold. If there was tension in the room, odds are Ryan brought it. Oh, and let's not forget the arrests, because nothing says leading man like getting busted for drug possession. The charming guy on screen started looking more like a cautionary tale. Ryan O'Neal went from America's sweetheart to Hollywood's maybe we don't call him back. A man who could steal your heart on screen and crush your spirit off it. Number 2, Dennis Hopper, the mad genius you didn't want at the party. Dennis Hopper wasn't just method, he was mayhem in a leather jacket. Brilliant, absolutely. But working with him felt like riding a roller coaster built by someone on acid. Known for showing up to set wired, wild, and wonderfully unreliable, Hopper turned film shoots into full-blown survival missions. On Apocalypse Now, director Francis Ford Coppola practically needed a separate crew just to manage Dennis. While The Jungle was terrifying, Hopper's antics were the real danger. He argued with everyone. He partied harder than rock bands. He made chaos look like an art form. And yet his performances electric, which is probably why people kept giving him one more shot right before swearing they'd never do it again. Off-set, it didn't get any better. His friendship with Easy Rider co-star Peter Fonda went up in smoke just like most of Hopper's bridges. Add in a few failed marriages, an addiction problem that could clear out a bar, and you've got yourself the ultimate Hollywood wildcard. Number 3, Shelley Winters, the diva who didn't come to play nice. Shelley Winters didn't just light up the screen, she set it on fire. A powerhouse of talent wrapped in a tornado of opinions, Shelley was the kind of woman who walked into a room and immediately made half of it nervous. Directors intimidated, co-stars bracing for impact. Shelley was brilliant, no doubt, but she had zero chill. She didn't just speak her mind, she practically shouted it from the Hollywood hills. And heaven help you if you crossed her. One of her most iconic clapbacks, calling Marilyn Monroe the most insecure person I ever met. Ouch. That wasn't just a burn, it was a 5-alarm fire. What started as friendship with Marilyn quickly turned into a full-blown Hollywood feud. Tabloids had a field day. And on set, Shelley ran a tight ship, her ship. She didn't collaborate, she commanded. Directors clashed with her, actors feared her, and PAs probably needed therapy after working a shoot with her. Number 4. Mickey Rooney, Hollywood's pocket-sized tyrant. He may have been pint-sized, but Mickey Rooney packed more drama than a soap opera marathon. Behind that boyish charm and million-dollar smile was a man who had to be the boss on screen, backstage, and probably at the craft services table. Mickey didn't just act, he took over. Directors dreaded his creative input, which usually meant do it my way or I throw a tantrum. Co-stars exhausted. He was a one-man hurricane in tap shoes. And then there was his love life. 8 marriages. 8. Including a fiery fling with Ava Gardner that could have fueled a telenovela. She later described him as jealous and controlling, so basically romantic bliss Rooney style. But wait, there's more. Despite earning millions, Mickey somehow managed to end up broke. Multiple bankruptcies, plenty of finger-pointing at accountants, and zero personal accountability. Classic. A legend, sure. But working with him like juggling chainsaws blindfolded. Mickey Rooney was Hollywood's original lovable menace, a chaos machine in a bow tie. Number 5, Klaus Kinski, the human hand grenade of cinema. If Klaus Kinski was in your cast, two things were guaranteed: explosive performances and just plain explosions. Working with him was like lighting a match next to a gas leak. You never knew when he'd blow, only that he would. On set, Kinski didn't argue, he detonated. He screamed at directors, terrorized crew members, and made co-stars question every career decision they'd ever made. He was such a nightmare that Werner Herzog, the director, who actually kept working with him once, said he considered hiring a hitman. Yes, a hitman. That's not difficult. That's Netflix true crime level. Kinski didn't just think he was better than everyone else, he said it out loud. Constantly. His ego had its own trailer. And while his intensity made for unforgettable performances, it also made everyone else miserable. But the real horror came off screen. His daughter, Paula Kinski, later accused him of years of sexual abuse, a revelation so disturbing it turned public distaste into outright revulsion. Klaus Kinski wasn't just the most hated man on set, he became one of the most hated names in the industry. A legend, yes, but one few would ever want to meet. Number 6, Tatum O'Neal, from Oscar darling to Hollywood's wounded rebel. She won an Academy Award at age 10, youngest ever. Cute, charming, unstoppable until Hollywood did what it does best, eat its young. Tatum O'Neal didn't grow up behind the scenes, she grew up in the scandal. Her relationship with her father, Ryan O'Neal, was less daddy's little girl, more daddy dearest. She accused him of abuse, neglect, and emotional chaos that made tabloid editors weep with gratitude. As if the family drama wasn't enough, Tatum's adult life came with a side of sirens. Multiple arrests, heroin possession, and public meltdowns kept her name in the news for all the wrong reasons. On set, she became known for being difficult, unreliable, and walking a tightrope between comeback and collapse. Directors weren't sure if they were hiring an actress or a liability. Still, Tatum had talent and pain, a lot of it. And while her early stardom faded fast, she never disappeared entirely. She just became Hollywood's cautionary tale, what happens when the spotlight hits too soon and no one teaches you how to live in the dark. Number 7, John Wayne, the Duke of Drama, and we don't mean on-screen. John Wayne didn't just play the tough guy, he was the tough guy both in the saddle and at the dinner table. But behind the swagger and cowboy boots was a man whose off-screen opinions packed more firepower than his Colt revolver. Wayne was Hollywood's all-American icon, unless you were anti-war liberal or breathing in the 1960s. His diehard support for the Vietnam War and shoot-from-the-hip politics made him a hero to some and a relic to others. And don't get us started on those controversial comments about race. Let's just say they aged like milk in the Mojave. He wasn't exactly easy to direct either. John Wayne didn't take notes, he took over. Directors like Howard Hawks clashed with his strong-arm style, but what were you gonna do, tell the Duke? No, his on-screen persona was all grit and glory, but off-screen. It was more like my way or get out of my saloon. For every fan who loved his old-school masculinity, there was someone else who saw him as out of touch and overbearing. Number 8, Joan Crawford. Queen of control and catfights. Joan Crawford didn't just chase perfection, she hunted it down in full glam with claws out. On set, she wasn't just an actress. She was the standard, the schedule, and occasionally the storm. Known for turning every scene into high art and every dressing room into a battlefield, Joan demanded spotless sets, quiet respect, and lighting that obeyed her laws of physics. Directors feared her, co-stars braced themselves, and if you moved her props, may the film gods help you. Her obsession with control extended beyond the studio. Home spotless, life scripted, public image micromanaged. Joan ran her career like a five-star general in heels, but her most legendary role, arch nemesis to Bette Davis. Their feud on Whatever Happened to Baby Jane was the Super Bowl of shade. On screen, they played deranged sisters. Off screen, it was knives-out warfare with lipstick on. Number 9. Claudia Cardinale, the Hollywood rebel who ghosted the fame game. While other starlets were chasing Oscars and studio contracts, Claudia Cardinale looked at Hollywood, shrugged, and said, "No thanks." Glamorous, gifted, and gloriously defiant, she chose art over fame, and Hollywood never forgave her for it. Producers wanted a pinup. Claudia gave them politics poise and Italian cinema. While her peers were posing for press junkets, Claudia was working with European auteurs who valued acting over ad campaigns. Imagine the audacity. Hollywood didn't know what to do with her. She wasn't hungry for gossip column glory or designer endorsement deals. She wanted depth, not dollars, and that made her dangerous. As a result, Claudia became a legend in Europe and a mystery in America. To US audiences, she wasn't a scandalous tabloid queen or a studio puppet. She was elusive, elegant, untouchable, which, let's face it, probably made her even cooler. Number 10. Robert Blake, from Emmy winner to murder trial headliner. Robert Blake had one of those faces, classic, tough, unforgettable. But by the 2000s, no one was talking about Beretta. They were too busy watching his real-life crime drama unfold in the courtroom. In 2001, Blake's wife, Bonnie Lee Backley, was found shot dead in his car outside a restaurant. Blake claimed he went back inside to get a gun. He forgot, yes, forgot, and came back to find her murdered. Convenient. The jury thought so. The public, even more suspicious. He was arrested, charged, and thrown into a media firestorm that made O.J. look like a warm-up act. Though acquitted in criminal court, Blake was later found liable in civil court. Translation: he walked free, but his reputation never did. Even before the murder scandal, Blake was that guy on set, short-tempered, combative, and allergic to direction. Directors rolled their eyes. Co-stars kept their distance. Hollywood had already started ghosting him long before the headlines hit. From child star to prime suspect, Robert Blake's story became less about scripts and more about suspicion. In the end, he didn't just kill his career, he buried it under courtroom drama. Number 11. Peter Sellers, comic genius, or certified menace, why not both? Peter Sellers could make the world laugh, then storm off set mid-scene because someone moved a prop 2 inches. He was a master of comedy and a disaster of a coworker. Working with him, think Pink Panther chaos, but without the laugh track. Sellers wasn't just moody, he was mood-swinging at Olympic speed. 1 minute charming and brilliant, the next screaming at directors and threatening to quit over creative differences, read, not getting his way. Some days he literally wouldn't speak to his co-stars between takes, because why bother? His director, Blake Edwards, once called him a genius and also a nightmare. That sums it up pretty well. Sellers' behavior was so erratic, even his characters seemed more stable than he was. And his love life. 4 marriages, each with more drama than the last. Swedish actress Britt Ekland, his second wife, painted a picture of a man who could go from tender to tyrannical before the kettle even boiled. Behind the laughs was a deeply troubled man, whose brilliance came with a serious warning label. Peter Sellers didn't just play the fool, he made fools out of everyone who thought working with him would be easy. Number 12. Elizabeth Taylor, Queen of Diamonds, and Divorce Court. Elizabeth Taylor didn't just steal scenes, she stole headlines, hearts, and maybe a husband or two. With 8 marriages to 7 men, she turned matrimony into a hobby and scandal into an art form. Her love story with Richard Burton, Hollywood's ultimate roller coaster. Passion, public fights, diamonds the size of fists, a divorce, and then another marriage to the same guy just for the sequel. The paparazzi had a permanent stakeout outside their lives. But Liz wasn't just famous for love affairs. Her jewelry collection could bankrupt small countries. The Taylor-Burton diamond alone was so huge it had its own zip code. To some, she was pure glamour. To others, she was what happened when Hollywood got drunk on its own sparkle. Critics said she was too dramatic, too extravagant, too much. But wasn't that kind of the point subtlety was for amateurs? Elizabeth Taylor lived life like a Technicolor epic, and every scandal only added to her legend. She won Oscars, wore tiaras to lunch, and married like it was a competitive sport. Was she messy? Absolutely. Was she unforgettable? Even more so. Number 13. Roman Polanski, the director who fled the final act. Roman Polanski directed some of cinema's greatest thrillers, but his real-life plot twist outshined them all. In 1977, he was arrested on serious charges involving a minor. The courtroom was buzzing, the tabloids were foaming, and before sentencing, Polanski did what few dare: he skipped town. As in fled the country. He's been living the international fugitive life ever since. A-list director. Yes. Wanted man, also yes. While some still toast his film genius, others ask, why are we still giving this guy standing ovations? Hollywood's response: a mess of moral gymnastics. Some defended him. Others distanced themselves. Meanwhile, Polanski kept winning awards in absentia naturally. Roman's story proves one thing: even in Tinseltown, some scripts go way off book, and this one's still unfinished. Number 14. Frank Sinatra, chairman of the board of Rage. Frank Sinatra had the voice of an angel and the temper of a nightclub bouncer. One second he was crooning "Fly Me to the Moon." The next he was throwing punches at photographers for snapping a bad angle. Reporters, he loathed them. Waiters, better get the drink order right. Friends, tread lightly. Frank's fuse was shorter than his signature tux pants. And let's talk mob rumors. Old Blue Eyes had more shady connections than a noir film. Dinners with known mobsters, check. Whispers of favors and favors returned, double check. If you needed a gig or someone taken care of, Sinatra might have had a guy. Romantically, he was a human carousel, 4 marriages, countless affairs, and a tabloid career to match his musical one. Sinatra loved hard, partied harder, and left chaos in his wake. He may have done it his way, but it wasn't always the right way. Number 15. Lana Turner. The glamour girl with a body count. Almost Lana Turner had the looks of a goddess and the life of a tabloid fever dream. She wasn't just a star, she was an event. And nothing proved that more than the night her 14-year-old daughter stabbed Lana's gangster boyfriend to death. Yes, really. Johnny Stompanato was no boy. Next door, he was Lana's violent, mob-connected lover. After one too many explosive fights, Lana's teenage daughter Cheryl did what most Hollywood screenwriters wouldn't dare: grabbed a kitchen knife and ended the drama literally. The courts called it justifiable. The press called it juicy. Hollywood called it career-altering. Even before the blood hit the headlines, Lana had a diva rep that sparkled just as much as her gowns. She clashed with directors, demanded the best, and had little patience for amateurs. Difficult, maybe. High maintenance, absolutely. But she looked incredible doing it. Lana Turner didn't just star in movies, she lived one. Every scandal, every set meltdown, every heartbreak was headline material. And through it all, she stayed flawless. Because in Lana's world, drama wasn't a problem, it was the brand. Number 16. Jane Fonda. From workout queen to public enemy number 1. Before she was the high priestess of spandex and aerobics, Jane Fonda was busy ticking off half the country with one photograph. In 1972, she visited North Vietnam, plopped herself on an anti-aircraft gun, and earned the nickname Hanoi Jane. Overnight, she went from Oscar darling to national outrage. Veterans called her a traitor. Protesters burned her effigy. Hollywood divided between admiration and secondhand panic. Fonda insisted she was protesting the war, not the troops, but that picture. Let's just say nuance doesn't work well on magazine covers. And just when you thought she was done stirring pots, she reinvented herself as the queen of home fitness. Her aerobics tapes sold like hotcakes, while critics accused her of pushing impossible beauty standards. If you didn't hate her politics, you probably hated your thighs because of her. Number 17. Faye Dunaway. The diva who took method acting to war. Faye Dunaway didn't act, she descended. Commanding, brilliant, terrifying. Working with her was like lighting a match near gasoline, risky, explosive, and guaranteed to leave a mark. On the set of Mommy Dearest, she didn't just play Joan Crawford, she became her. Crew members swore she never broke character, which might explain the shouting fits, flying insults, and the lingering fear in everyone's eyes. Method acting, more like psychological warfare. Faye demanded perfection, and if you couldn't deliver, she'd deliver a tantrum instead. Directors dreaded her. Co-stars ducked for cover. And behind every award-worthy performance was a production team needing therapy. Her off-screen feuds were just as juicy, ask Roman Polanski, who once reportedly yanked her hair out on set. Spoiler, it didn't go over well. In Hollywood, they say, never work with kids, animals, or Faye Dunaway. Number 18. Marilyn Monroe, the blonde bombshell who blew up the system. She was the face of glamour, but behind the platinum curls and perfect pout, Marilyn Monroe was a beautiful mess with big dreams and even bigger baggage. She was late. Constantly. She missed entire shooting days. Directors pulled their hair out. But when she did show up, magic. Tragic, chaotic magic. Marilyn battled depression, anxiety, and the prison of being Hollywood's favorite dumb blonde. But she wanted more serious roles, creative control, respect. So she did. The unthinkable started her own production company. In the 50s, while being the most famous woman in the world. The studios furious, the men in charge terrified. Marilyn wasn't playing by the rules anymore. She may have been fragile, but she wasn't stupid. Marilyn Monroe fought for her voice even when it cracked. Number 19. Marlon Brando, the method actor who ghosted reality. Marlon Brando wasn't just a star, he was a walking contradiction in a leather jacket. Genius, absolutely. Easy to work with. Only if you enjoyed chaos. On Apocalypse. Now he showed up overweight, unprepared, and hadn't read the script. He refused to memorize lines, demanded they be read to him like bedtime stories, and still turned in a performance so haunting, it made everyone forget how much they wanted to strangle him. He clashed with directors, ignored producers, and treated film sets like his personal playground. But if you dared to question him, he'd hit back with either a monologue or a lawsuit. Off-screen, he was just as complicated. Activist, lover, absentee father. Brando had affairs scandals and kids who later called him emotionally absent and deeply flawed. And let's not forget the Oscars incident. He refused his Academy Award and sent a Native American activist to reject it on live TV. Iconic, yes, polarizing more than a little. Brando redefined acting and also redefined difficult. Number 20. Natalie Wood, Hollywood's golden girl with a mystery ending. Natalie Wood had the perfect Hollywood life until it ended with one of Tinseltown's most infamous mysteries. A yacht. A fight. A body in the water. No scriptwriter could have penned it better. She was on a boat with husband Robert Wagner and actor Christopher Walken. Hours later, she was found drowned wearing a nightgown and socks. The official story, accident. The public reaction. Suspicious silence. Reports of a heated argument that night fueled rumors of foul play. Wagner's story kept changing. Walken stayed cryptic, and investigators looked more confused than a soap opera cast during a plot twist. The case was reopened in 2011. Wagner was named a person of interest, but no charges were filed, which only made things juicier. Was it an accident, a cover-up, a Hollywood tragedy with a third act still missing? Even in death, Natalie Wood remained the ultimate enigma, a star who went out the way she lived, surrounded by glamour, shadows, and whispers. Number 21. Bette Davis, the original Hollywood badass, with zero time for your nonsense. Bette Davis didn't break the Hollywood mold, she shattered it, ground it into powder, and used it as eyeshadow. She wasn't here to smile and look pretty. She was here to act and to fight like hell for it. Long before a strong female lead was a buzzword, Bette was out here suing Warner Brothers for better roles. She lost the case but won the war. She clashed with studio execs, called out lazy co-stars, and made no apologies for demanding excellence even if it meant a few bruised egos. And then there was the legendary feud with Joan Crawford. Think Real Housewives, but with Oscars and better fashion. Whatever happened to Baby Jane iconic? Their behind-the-scenes drama even juicier. Bette wasn't warm and fuzzy, she was fierce, demanding, and allergic to mediocrity. Hollywood either loved her or feared her, usually both. And if you thought you could outact her, outshine her, or outlast her, you were probably unemployed by lunchtime. Number 22. Judy Garland, the star who got trapped. Somewhere Over the Rainbow. Judy Garland sang Somewhere Over the Rainbow, but real life gave her a storm cloud and a bottle of pills. Pushed into stardom as a child, Judy was Hollywood's favorite doll, drugged to stay thin, perked up for late shoots, and sedated to sleep. The studios called it managing talent. Psychologists today call it a mental health disaster. As she grew up, Judy didn't just carry a tune, she carried trauma. Addiction, divorce, depression. You name it, she lived it. On set, she was magnetic but unstable. One day, she lit up the screen. The next, she didn't show up at all. Her 5 marriages could have filled a soap opera season, and her breakdowns filled tabloids. But through it all, that voice aching, raw, unforgettable, never left her. Judy Garland wasn't just a tragic starlet. She was a warning label, a legend, and a soul too fragile for the studio machine that built her. Number 23, Howard Hughes, the billionaire who battled germs and Hollywood. Howard Hughes had it all: money, power, movie studios, and a crippling fear of literally everything. Sure, he built planes, dated starlets, and made epic films. But by Act 3 of his life, Hughes wasn't directing movies, he was directing his own slow descent into obsessive madness. He washed his hands so often, they probably filed for workers' comp. If someone touched his stuff, into the fire it went. Rumor has it he burned clothes more often than he wore them. Professionally, he was a micromanaging maniac. His movie The Outlaw took years to release, not because of artistic vision, but because Hughes couldn't stop re-editing every frame like a man possessed. Eventually, he locked himself away in a Vegas penthouse, watching movies in Kleenex boxes on his feet. and issuing instructions like an eccentric Bond villain. Number 24. Joan Collins, Dynasty's reigning drama queen. Joan Collins didn't just play divas, she was the diva. As Alexis Carrington on Dynasty, she served icy glares, sharp one-liners, and fashions so fierce it could wound. But behind the scenes, even spicier. On set, Joan had zero patience for sloppiness. She demanded perfection, sparkled under pressure, and if she didn't like you, you'd know it. Her feud with co-star Linda Evans was soap opera gold just without the cameras rolling. The tension between them so thick you could cut it with a diamond earring. They'd go from slapping each other in scenes to not speaking at lunch, and yet, the show thrived on that real-life rivalry. Who says method acting doesn't work? Off-screen, Joan's personal life